Jamie here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Monday, December 9th, 2024. Talk really quick about the market, some names I'm looking at, and go from there. But take a look. S&P futures were mixed this morning. They're pretty much flat. Small caps are actually small cap future pointing to a half percentage gains. ES minis are pretty much flat. So uh, not too bad considering overnight you had China. Asian markets were actually in the red for the entire session. Then at the end of the day, or the end of the session, right after the session closed, China officials came out with more comments around fiscal stimulus. So, and I think one of the words they used, which they've never used before, extraordinary measures. So you saw Asia futures rocket, and now you see China ADR stocks, Baidu, Baba, PDD, all those names just rallying. I don't even see what is Baba at 92 right now. Yeah, 91, 93. Baidu's up. So I mean, we've seen this before. Deja vu all over again. Is this going to hold? At some point it does, right? So I'm not going to dip my toes yet in in Baidu or some of these other names, but certainly on the radar after news overnight. So futures pretty much flat this week. We have CPI data on Wednesday. There's still earnings. So we have Broadcom, GameStop's tomorrow, Adobe's Wednesday, um, Restoration Hardware, I believe, AutoZone. So those are some names. C3 AI reports after close today. Um, and then also PPI data comes out on Thursday. Considering the jobs report on Friday, it's hard to think, or at least for me to wrap my head around the market really finding much in a way of craziness unless there's a huge upside or downside surprise to the CPI or PPI come Wednesday and Thursday. And then next week we have the Fed meeting. So right now it's like an 84% probability that the Fed's going to cut rates at least a quarter percent. So that's kind of probably what's going to happen. Uh, so some interesting things. I mean, the trading range again on Friday, 0.3% trading range. I think there was three of the four of the five sessions last week were all 0.3% trading ranges. I mean, that's insane, right? So, uh, again, we're at all-time highs. So to see that happen, I think that's actually a bullish thing, right? You would think it means consolidation. Sellers have been churned through. Uh, yeah, and that 610 handle looks like it's going to come. I don't know if it's going to come today. We got up to 609 on Friday before a reversal. Maybe it happens Wednesday, depending on the CPI data. All right, so that's overall markets. Yields are trending down too. So the 10-year down again. You see kind of pretty much since about the 20th of November, it's been just trending down. So that's another good sign. And then last but not least, and I always talk about my small caps, those are look to be outperforming here today. So that'll be a good sign. And then also on the side note, with that China news overnight, it seems like China markets it makes gold more sensitive, or gold's more sensitive to China news. So you see gold's up over a percent here. I think it was Friday afternoon. I was saying I didn't want to add any more GLD puts yet because gold has a way of gapping or running on Mondays, and sure enough, that's what happened. So certainly, I'll be watching again for possible weakness. All right, so overall, that's overall markets. Individual names. I posted a little snippet on Clear Secure on FinTwit. I posted in a chat room too. Just, I mean, if you've heard my rants on Clear Secure, I mean, it's such a great growth story. It's like 35% compounded annual growth rate over like the last 5 years. It's grown at 28% year over year. And it's fundamentally sound. $540 million in cash. They issue dividends. They do stock buybacks. They just did 4 million shares back in July at prices substantially lower than where it's trading now. And they keep opening more locations. So, I talk about this. The short case on a Clear Secure is Bloomberg comes out with all these pieces, and I'm trying to find all the articles that they've had over the past, but you watch, and one of the reporters did a quick video on it, and it's almost like that reporter has maybe he's upset because he doesn't want to pay for the Clear Secure, or his card didn't give him that benefit, so he wants to come out and nix the program. Oh, well, taxpayer money pays for the TSA. There shouldn't be a program that lets people through. California has a law that they're trying to roll out that will require Clear to have their own security lines financed. I get some of the bear case and what have you, but the company's been doing this for a long time now. And the bear case a year ago, or 2 years ago, Bloomberg came out with a piece that one person was able to find a passport or something in the garbage and pass through security from Clear Secure. One person, and then the headline was TSA probes is probing Clear Secure, and then what happens 6 months later? Clear Secure is now authorized to sign people up for TSA pre-check, right? So the probe was so horrible that not only did Clear Secure pass the probe, if there was one, who knows if there was, but the TS they are now a third party partner for the TSA. Just it just shows how it's like they're picking at straws, you know. So I love the story, especially down here. And you saw the move in earnings at the start of November. I thought it was a great report, and I guess you can nick holes in kind of the story because the retention rate went down to 81% or something like that. So that's trending, but their users are going up. So some of it might be a function of some of these roll-offs. They give free offers to get people on board, and then once those offers go away, they're not able to retain them as much. I don't know what that looks like, and it's not like it's an inexpensive program. So unless you're a frequent traveler, and they show, I think Clear Secure, each member uses the service around 7 times a year. So you divide, I think it's $170 price point. Is that 25 bucks? Uh, every time you fly, is that worth it? I mean, how much does it cost to store your luggage? You know what I mean? To have to force a carry-on into the overhead, or you pay for luggage. So you try and make the rationale. I mean, that's the case for me. A lot of people don't like waiting. And then the other bear case is that the TSA PreCheck is faster than Clear Secure, but it's like if you do TSA PreCheck and Clear Secure, it's like a double, right? It's a win-win. Anyway, rants for other days. Really like the story. Tight Bollinger Band setup. If you look at the last couple of moves, especially August, we had a big move from the 18s, ran all the way up into the 30s. Another big move back in October from 30 all the way up to near 40. And here it is again, Tight Bollinger Band setup. I think it heads into the 30s in the coming days. And you also have that possible backdrop of Roaring Kitty, right? So who knows if he's that cryptic tweet was really about going into a U company. If it is, his name was Deep Effin' Value. I like you. I love Unity. I don't think you can say Unity is a deep Effin' value play, where a company that does buybacks, fundamentally sound, uh, dividends, things like that's like a deep Effin' value name. All right, so that's Clear Secure. If the premiums start evaporating more, because some of them evaporate on Friday because the optimism over the Roaring Kitty situation kind of pulled some of the spiked the premiums, and then they kind of melted out a little bit on Friday. I'll look for more strikes played for move on upside. ROKU, another name. I had those $80 calls on Monday. I think I got them for 29 cents. Sell them early on Tuesday, then Wednesday would come out with those upgrades and comment, and all of a sudden it's $85, and my stock, my calls would have been up 2,000%. But was able to get some December and January strikes as well, lock some in for profits to cover costs. I'll continue to hold those, and if it starts to break maybe 85, 50, 86 today, I'll start looking to do some spec calls on weeklies, because I think it's at the point where I think it's the tide is shifting. I think, especially in regards to sentiment, I think it heads over $90 this week. So really like the low ROKU setup. Joby, another monster session on Friday. At times this last week, it was down almost, I think it was like 18%. It recouped most of those losses. It was actually only down 1% on a week, and it's gapping again over $9 here this morning. 962 is the next big area. Going to continue to be patient adding strikes. I was going to get some Aprils on last Monday or Tuesday, but premiums didn't come out as much as I wanted. But I'll continue to hold my January strikes. I already locked a lot of those in. Fiverr recouped most of Thursday's losses on Friday. Really like this one to $40. I think once it breaks 40, some FOMO, maybe it gets up to 45. So really like that one into the end of the year. Square, I guess it hit a wall every time, pretty much every session last week. I still closed up right near that 100 handle. So it's 97.40 here. It's actually in the red this morning. Only a matter of time before that's over $100. I put it on the watch list. Once that breaks 100, I'll add some more strikes for that FOMO move as well. And Teladoc, just disappointing. Teladoc was down 8% last week. I guess I always try to find a silver lining, or not always, but sometimes silver lining still holding that 200-day moving average. Also, you have the Zoom earnings. I think that just kind of adds more credibility to the possible, a virtual situation, right? That whole landscape. So I think the Zoom earnings should shed more light on Teladoc. So I still hold my strikes here. Lock some of those in already, and I'll continue to hold. I think it heads to 15, and then if not higher into the end, into the start of next year. I think that's it, folks. What else, Rips? GameStop earnings. Um, yeah, the whole Syria thing, right? It's funny when all that the stuff was going on in Syria years ago. It used to be the big, Russia was in there, and if Russia's planes hit U.S. planes, and was a whole. And now that that situation's almost alleviated, it's like the market's just shaking it off. And then you wonder when you have all these headlines about all the conflict and whatever, the market gets a little rattly. It's like, oh well, World War III, and then you fast forward 5 years and it's all resolved. Well, not all resolved. Anyway, that's it, folks. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on audio later. Rock and roll.